Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs, and today I have this really fun fall birthday card to share with you. So let's jump right in. So as always, I'm lying to you. I'm not going to cut down my cardstock. I am going to start by pressing the plates into the cotton paper that I have here. So I'm going to use the SpellBinders Betterpress Letterpress, which is what we're going to use to actually press the leaves and the sentiments into the cotton paper. And I'm using the SpellBinders Autumn Leaves press plate and die set. That's what you see me using here. And I did bust out my Versafine Clair Nocturn ink, which is the same as the Versafine the regular one, Versafine ink, I think it's just called. They're, I believe, the same formulation. So you can use whatever black ink you want to. Just keep in mind that you're going to have to clean it off the plates. So that will kind of depend on then what cleaner you need. And I do like to use my Big Shot for all of these, like the Glimmer hot foil machine, the Betterpress. I just find it more peace of mind for me to use my Big Shot than my Switch. So that is what I kind of use as my go-to. And then I'm also going to press my sentiments. Now, I love the press plates. I think they're stunning. Sadly, you don't get the really cool quality that you get in person. Like it doesn't show how great these are in video. So sadly, it does press the plates into the cotton paper and it gives you this really cool indented look, but it's hard to pick up on video. So be aware that that is there and it is stunning. It's just a little hard to see. And then for the sentiments, I have the SpellBinders Fancy Sentiment Strips press plate and die, because I will be die cutting all these beauties out a little later. And the great thing about that is now you have like 10 sentiments or however many come in the set to use on different cards. I think it's actually 8, but yeah, it's pretty great. So now we're going to cut down the cardstock. I have a piece of cardstock here and I have no idea what company it's from. I got it in a kit. I think it might have been Hero Arts. It might have been Concord 9th. I don't actually know. So if you know where this is from, please let me know. I love the color, but I cannot find it. So if you know of a really pretty kind of plum purple color that's in the cardstock line, please let me know what it is so I can pick some up, because it is just stunning and I only have this small amount of it. So I really want to use some more. And then I wanted to run it through with some texture. So I used the SpellBinders Luxe Backdrop and Border 3D embossing folder. I just used the small part at the top. Obviously, I didn't use the part where you can use like the die to cut. There's like a little piece on the bottom of the embossing folder that cuts the like die cuts. I didn't use that piece. I just used the top because I love the texture there. And then I'm also going to run my sentiments through with their matching die cut. I did have like just a little issue with a couple of the center ones. They weren't quite cut all the way, so I did end up running it through twice, although I had no issues with that. I have a Switch, which is an automatic die cutting machine, so it's super easy to just run things through with no issue. And then I am using the the Scrapbook Magic Mat as my base piece with my sandwich, just because it makes it so I don't have to cut into plates and I'm not, constantly die cutting on plates and then replacing them. So I'm going to watercolor these because the paper that comes with the Betterpress, it is 100% cotton paper. However, it is not great for watercoloring. Now, I'm not saying you can't, because you can obviously see that's what I'm doing here, but it sucks up the water and you get pretty much no movement whatsoever when you're trying to paint the leaves or whatever you wanted to paint, flowers, whatever. In this case, obviously, it's leaves. And it sucks the water up instantaneously. So I wouldn't really suggest using this for watercoloring. I think on my next attempt, I would actually bust out some of my 100% cotton watercolor paper and use that instead. But I wanted to give this a go because I generally love cotton paper, and this one just didn't quite live up to the needs I had for it as watercolor paper. So for the watercoloring, I brought out my Mijello Mission Gold set. It's a stunning set of watercolors, and I don't use it as much as I should, honestly, because it is just beautiful. It has a full range of stunning colors. I put it in this palette. It doesn't come with this palette, but I always have everything linked and listed down below if you're ever interested in anything. It is a little bit of an expensive set, but it's so beautiful and it lasts for so long. I've had this set now 5 years, I want to say. And this is not even, because it comes in tubes. And then you put them into the palette. And this is the first fill of the palette still. And now granted, I don't watercolor all the time. So there is that. Keep that in mind. I mean, if you were really into watercolor and you use them all the time, it might not last as long as mine has. But honestly, mine's lasted a long time, and I think yours would too. If you want to know the exact colors, and yes, Mist keeps leaping up there and I have to keep setting her down because I don't want her to walk through the paint. So you don't really get to see her in this video because we are painting and I really don't want her to track that around the house. But if you want the exact colors I used, I used Permanent Yellow Light. Nope, I'm lying to you. It's Permanent Yellow Deep. Vermilion, Quinacridone Crimson Lake. I did bring in, I believe at the very end, just a touch of Bright Clear Violet, just for fun. Not because it's really a fall color, but I wanted a little more purple. So I did. I brought in also some Van Dyke Green, Olive Green, Raw Umber, and I believe I used Burnt Umber for the actual stems on the leaves. And I did also bring in a touch of blue, and I'm pretty sure it was the Persian blue. Not that the exact colors matter. They don't. Whatever you have for a kind of a fall color palette, use that. I just, if someone is curious, I want to give you the exact colors that I used. So you can kind of have those. I love how this card turned out. I was so excited about it when I finished. I honestly had no real idea of what the heck I was doing. I knew that I wanted kind of a fall card, and I knew that I wanted to use these leaves because I bought them last year, I think they came out, and I forgot I had them, so I hadn't used them. And so I thought a fall card would be perfect for right now. I know we're still technically in summer, but fall's my favorite season, so I kind of enjoy, playing with fall things. And because we're going to do Halloween for most of, or pretty much all of September, I really wanted to get a little bit of fall stuff in as well. So that's kind of why I ended up going this route. And yeah, I had a blast with these. Although, again, as I said, if you really want to watercolor them, I wouldn't suggest using the cotton paper that comes with the Betterpress. I would, bust out whatever your favorite cotton paper is for that, or whatever your favorite watercolor paper happens to be. Mine is the Arches, so that's what I tend to use, and I probably should have used that, but I figured I would give this a try and just see what happened. I mean, worse at worse, I could have repainted them if I needed to, or whatever, so I wasn't too concerned about it. And then I brought in a little bit of the Liquitex acrylic ink. This is the Iridescent Bright Silver. I just wanted a touch of texture in the background. You guys know, if you've been with me for a while, I like a bit of a mixed media feel to my cards, and I thought this one would be a lot of fun. So I brought in some splatter, I added it onto the card panel in the back, and I added it to the leaves. It's a very, very fine bit of glitter kind of on the leaves, whereas I have bigger drops in the background. And I love how that looks. I'm also going to bring in a little bit of cheesecloth to add a little more interest and texture in the background behind the leaves. You could add string, you could add whatever you want. A piece of lace if you had it, that could look really cool. I just kind of was playing with different textures because I thought it would be really fun for a fall card. And obviously in this case, I did only make one card. You could absolutely make two if you wanted to. I was worried that the painting would take a while, so I didn't want to paint twice. But now that I have this idea, I could easily kind of recreate it and do, more of a winter vibe for the leaves or more of a spring vibe, whatever you kind of want to do. Because leaves are pretty versatile, so you really have a lot of options there. And then I did run this through my die cutting machine just so I could cut out the individual leaves and then kind of create I guess I kind of made a line of leaves, really. You could aim for a bouquet or whatever you wanted to do, but I kind of just made this line of leaves on the left-hand side of the card, just because I liked how that looked, and I wanted them all to be seen, so I didn't really want to stack them on top of each other, which would be another option. But I like how this turned out, so I was really, really excited about it. But I think next time I bust out one of these plates and I want to watercolor, I'll change up the cardstock and see how it impresses. Because I haven't actually tried other cardstock for pressing yet. I've really only used the cardstock that comes with the Betterpress, because I still have some. I haven't used a lot. I haven't used my Betterpress as much as I should. So I'll have to try out some different cardstocks and just see what happens. But yeah, sadly, it's pretty hard to pick up on camera. So that is a little difficult, but I can see it and I love it. And I think it turned out phenomenal. So here's where I'm just adding that piece of cheesecloth, and I am intentionally trying to get it to fray because I want that added texture in the background. And so I had a lot of fun with that. So now I'm just going to lay them out. And as I said, I really wanted you to see the majority of each leaf. So that's why I'm trying to kind of, splay them along the edge there and just give it as much of the bright colors as I can. And of course the maple leaf is in front because I am Canadian and maple leaves have a soft spot in my heart. So if there is a maple leaf in a collection, it will always be front and center for me just because that's how I, feel. If I had been really ambitious, I would have just Betterpressed the maple leaf a few times and just done that one leaf. There is actually 4 leaves in this set. But if you've been with me for a hot minute, you know how much I love to do uneven numbers. So we did go with 3 leaves. You could have done the 4th leaf and put it on the inside if you wanted to, but I opted to just do the 3 leaves and be, happy with those. And of course, because I need some dimension in my life, I did bring in my Big Mama foam tape and I just added a couple of strips on the back. This foam tape is like a 1/16 of an inch thick. It is by far my favorite foam tape. I love it so much. Simon makes it and I love it. So I'll intentionally order from Simon Says Stamp just so I can get some of this foam tape because it is by far my favorite. And it's less expensive for me to get this in Canada, even though I have to pay exchange and sometimes customs, than it is for me to find the Scott's or the 3M Scotch one, because they make a really nice one too, but I for the life of me can't find it. And when I can find it, it's like $90 Canadian for me to get a roll of some foam tape. So the Big Mama foam tape is by far my favorite, and I like it's my go-to because it doesn't add a ton of bulk, but you do get some dimension, which I love very, very much. And then I did opt to do the happy birthday sentiment. I mean, again, you could have used any one of the 8 that come, there's so many of them, but I'll just set them aside and bring them in on different cards as I need them because, it's not like I'm going to stop making cards tomorrow. So they will be used at some point. And I did add just a couple of foam squares to the back of the sentiment just to help prop up the portion that's not sitting over top of that center leaf. This just keeps it steady so I don't have any issues with it bowing in the center where I've kind of had to glue it down to the background instead of the leaves. And it just kind of, gives it a little more stability, and I kind of like that look. And because I can never leave well enough alone, I did bring in a couple of pearls. These are like a chocolatey brown pearl, and I felt like they fit the fall vibe perfectly. And I don't get to use them very often because they are brown and I generally don't reach for something like that, but they are stunning. I love them on this card. They just fit so well. So that is the card I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you leave me a like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do new videos every Monday and Thursday, and every second Thursday is a live stream, which is usually really, really fun. If you've watched this video all the way to the end, please leave me a leaf emoji, just because it's nice to know who's doing that so I can show it a little extra love and, say thank you when I can. So thank you so much, guys, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.